this one. This is gonna keep you up while you sleep tonight. The hollow moon theory. Our moon really doesn't make sense when you look at the facts. Like, it shouldn't exist. The moon is about 25% of Earth's size, the biggest moon to planet ratio of our entire solar system. Pluto is not a planet, that doesn't count. That's 72 times larger than the expected average moon to planet ratio of our solar system. Moons are just not supposed to be this big relative to their home planet, but sure, maybe we got lucky. Despite this, the moon is only 1% of Earth's mass. 1%, meaning it is way lighter than it's expected to be, and we really don't even know why. Unless, of course, the moon is either extremely porous like a sponge or a hollow shell. When looking at this data, NASA's own Dr. Gordon McDonald even said himself it would seem that the moon is more like a hollow than a homogeneous sphere. But oh, that's just the tip, and we ain't stopping. Our moon's orbit is way closer than that of any of the other over 400 moons in our solar system, and also has a near perfectly circular orbital path. We don't see this on any other planet, which all have moons with wildly eccentric orbits. Our moon also coincidentally appears as the exact same size as the sun in our sky. Despite our sun having a diameter 400 times larger than the moon just so happens to be exactly 400 times closer to us, defying all odds of randomness, but is officially deemed just a cosmic coincidence. The moon also happens to be tidally locked with our planet, meaning its rotational period is the same as its orbital period around the Earth, which is why the same side is always facing us. This one is not so much a coincidence, as tidally locked moons are actually fairly common in our solar system. But it would also be the perfect excuse for the moon to always look the same in our sky, and for us to never see what's on the other side, like an all-seeing eye that never ceases surveillance of our planet. We don't even know for sure how our moon even got there in the first place. The most common explanation is that the early Earth collided with a massive protoplanet called Theia about 4.5 billion years ago, which was thought to be roughly the size of Mars, and the impact caused the resulting debris to coalesce and eventually form the moon. This is known as the giant impact theory. There's also the fission hypothesis, where an early molten Earth was spinning so fast that a part of it got ejected out into space and became the moon. The capture theory, implying the moon just drifted by Earth and was captured by its gravity. And the accretion theory, suggesting that as the early Earth was forming in its accretion disk, a part of that disk clumped together to become the moon. But when studying rock samples from the surface of the moon, we find out that none of these theories quite make any sense, with other NASA scientists like Dr. Robin Brett further quoted as saying, "It seems much easier to explain the non-existence of the moon than its existence. Like on Earth, the newest rocks are on the surface, and the deeper we go, the older the rocks get, as we would naturally expect to be the case. On the moon, it's the other way around. Soil samples from the moon confirm that older rocks are on the surface, and they get younger the deeper we go. The only time we ever see this inverse relationship of rock layer depth to rock age on Earth is through human interaction, like drilling, digging holes, and boring tunnels. Did the same thing happen on the moon? If the moon was hollowed out from the inside, this older inner rock would be brought up to the surface, and this observation would make sense. The lunar crust is also thinner on the side of the moon facing the Earth and thicker on the dark side of the moon, and researchers still have no idea why. The moon doesn't have a magnetic field, much the same as other planets' moons, but strangely, moon rock samples are strongly magnetized. Craters on the moon are all virtually the same depth, no matter how big or small they are. On Earth, bigger craters naturally go much deeper than smaller ones, as the impact was greater. Not on the moon, almost like there's a solid layer underneath preventing the crater from going too deep. Moon rocks are also much older than the oldest rocks on Earth by millions of years, blowing the fission hypothesis and accretion theory out of the water. The moon contains traces of uranium-236, a radioactive isotope that doesn't occur naturally on Earth, but rather through the highly complicated scientific process of nuclear fission, something that only an intelligent species is capable of. Zirconium, chromium, and titanium are all relatively rare Earth metals, but are somehow quite abundant on the moon. Those three elements are also some of the most durable and corrosive resistant that we know of, perfect for building a massive structure. And they've even done quantifiable experiments that tell us that's exactly what the moon might be. When Apollo 12 was leaving the moon's orbit, they intentionally dropped their lunar lander down to the surface. When it crashed, seismic measurements showed that the moon reverberated and rang like a bell for an hour. They did not expect this. Only hollow objects are expected to reverb like this, especially with something as small as a lunar lander. During Apollo 13, they tested that again with a much larger object, dropping a spent Saturn V booster rocket that impacted the lunar surface. This time, the moon rang for 3 hours, with vibrations going as deep as 32 kilometers beneath the surface, and even got faster the deeper they got.
You want to know what's really weird about the moon? We planted 6 flags up there, right? 6. Yet, with all our giant telescopes, not one person has ever shown you a single flag. We can see galaxies millions of light years away, but we can't zoom in on something we left right above our heads. We've got a rover on Mars, but not a single working rover on the moon. Convenient. And then there's the dark side. Every other moon in our solar system rotates. Ours, it's locked, showing us the same face forever. You don't think that's engineered? The ancients called it a lamp, a clock, even a watch, or some even said it was brought here, placed, not born. Why does every major culture have legends of a time before the moon? How can that be if it's just a random rock floating in space? Scientists admit when we hit the moon with a missile, it rang like a bell, hollow, metallic. So tell me, is it really a natural satellite or a machine, a structure, maybe even an outpost? We've been told it's just rock and dust, but maybe, just maybe, it's a locked vault. A vault holding secrets humanity was never meant to touch. Don't you think that's weird? This is just a theory, not a fact.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if the moon slowly drifted away from us? Because that's exactly what's happening right now. Every single year, the moon moves about 3.8 centimeters farther from Earth. That's roughly the same rate your fingernails grow. It doesn't sound like much, but over millions of years, it adds up. The moon first formed around 4.5 billion years ago. It was 3 times closer to Earth. Back then, it looked massive in the sky and caused tides hundreds of times stronger than today's. But as it drifts away, our days are actually getting longer. Billions of years ago, a day on Earth lasted only 6 hours. Now it's 24 and still slowly stretching. If this continues, one day, far in the future, the moon will drift so far away that Earth's rotation and tides will freeze into perfect balance. Tides will weaken, nights will darken, and the familiar moon we see today will be just a little smaller, a little dimmer, and a little more distant. So the next time you look at the moon, remember, it's quietly leaving us, one tiny inch at a time.
It never spins. It's perfectly locked to us. Seismometers say it rings like a bell when struck. Hollow? No. Engineered. The craters are all shallow, the surface too symmetrical. And then there's the signal. Detected once in 1976. Coded. Ancient. It said, "Do not wake them." Since then, increased anxiety, sleep disruption. Something beneath it is starting to hum. And we keep pointing our antennas right at it.
You heard about this before?
There are ancient legends that talk about a moonless sky and when the moon arrived. And when it arrived, it caused a great flood.
Where are they from?
Ancient Indian texts will have it, but also native legends will have it. The earth was apparently just covered in this haze, very wet, very hazy. Then the moon arrives and all that water from the atmosphere drops down to earth. There's a huge flood and everything just settles, and then the moon is here. And the moon is now like the guardian of the planet.
The moon is a reflection of the earth. Check this out.
Yo, so is this not what people have been seeing in the sky? Anyway, this gets actually a lot crazier. This is not why I'm trying to show you this, but this part does look like some shit that's been flying around when people zoom in. But wait till I do this. Hold on. I just came out to see how much water my sheep has drank. That's what I do. I check on them like that. So you see how this is? Just wait. Just hold up till the damn thing stops. I had seen a video of a dude saying that the moon is a reflection of the earth. And I forgot about it till I just walked up and did this. Look at that. That looks like the moon, bro. You see those waves going across? That sometimes happens. And people that know me are gonna...
So I don't know if you guys caught that. He said sometimes when you look at the moon, those waves happen, right? You can almost see some sort of waves or water going through the moon. And I'll show you guys a video right after this that depicts that.
Look at that. That's the moon, man. On a flat surface with dry land showing on the shadows. Craters, whatever. Those ain't craters, it's dry land, dude.
Have you guys gone out tonight and checked out the moon? We're just over 24 hours away from the full August sturgeon moon. You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna show you it through a telescope. Whoa, okay, dim, way down. We're gonna zoom in some spots. Wow, that's Earth rotating, because the moon orbits Earth in the same direction we
right
spin.
there. I don't know if you guys are able to
faster.
I don't know if you guys are able to catch that, but you can see the waves passing through the moon.
then the moon's orbiting, so we're really pulling ahead
Right
of the moon.
there.
There you go.
It happens very, very slightly, but it's very similar to the other guy's video that when he was lighting his flashlight to this bowl of water, in the reflection, you were able to see the waves passing through. So it was very similar to when this guy is zooming in with his telescope of the moon. All these dark spots, you see this other image where all these dark spots, it pretty much, if you were to like put it against each other, everything would match.
We now have footage of what the moon looks like when you are beyond the ice wall, which we got from this video from 2012, which shows a guy in Antarctica near the ice wall looking up at what must be a different side of the moon. Now here's the actual video. If you look closely at the moon here, it looks as if it's in the shape of a salamander. And if you've heard anything from my other videos, there's this whole theory that the moon is actually a reflection of all the land on Earth. So what we see is actually sort of a map in the sky. So whatever this salamander-shaped continent is, it must be what the land looks like over here. And maybe it could be a giant salamander even. And I'm not going to explain this all again because I've done that many times in other videos, but basically there's this map from World War II that the Germans had, and it was based off of the moon. It was a reflection of the moon, and they drew all of our continents onto it, as well as secret ones that were far off in the west that were behind an ice barrier.
So a flat earther sent me this video yesterday as an explanation for the moon's phases. And I want you to see if you notice what I notice when they demonstrate. First, the moon, I guess, is a shallow bowl. Okay, its surface has got see-through parts as well. Okay, putting in the blue liquid. Now look, see if you notice what I notice. Okay, it goes in. All right, so the crescents are shown. Anybody else notice anything about the phases of the moon here? All right, and he's going to do it again with a darker liquid for nighttime moon. See if you can notice anything. All right, there's the daytime phases. Here's the nighttime phases of the moon. It becomes pretty obvious.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond.
Dude, me too. So what's the problem?
The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore.
Oh. Well, what happened to it?
We used to, but we destroyed that technology.
Well, why don't you just build it back again?
And it's a painful process to build it back again.
When you said that just now, did it sound stupid to you?
Kind of.
All right, so let me get this straight. The reason we haven't been back to the moon since 1969 is because we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it again?
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
So in 50 years, we've gone from the rotary phone to the smartphone that can film in beautiful 4K. We can stream movies while ordering tacos in 10 seconds, but rebuilding a 1960s rocket is just too hard?
Right, we've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up.
Back then we had computers the size of refrigerators that had less processing power than a modern toaster. And today we have 3D printing advanced robotics. But yeah, let's act like the blueprints for the Saturn V rocket were just drawn on a napkin and thrown in the trash. NASA's budget is $25 billion a year, so where is all that money going? What do you think? Does it sound like we won't or we can't?
That's delusional, and I'll tell you why.
You can argue with the facts.
Watch me.
Okay.
What you just said is a complete delusion. It presumes that we went to the moon for science. It presumes that we went to the moon to explore it. But that's not why we went to the moon. We went to the moon because we were at war. Sputnik was not just some orbiting spacecraft. It was a hollowed out intercontinental ballistic missile where they took out the warhead and put in a radio transmitter. The military knew this. That's what founded NASA. NASA's budget for science has it averaged over all these years about 25%. The rest has been for geopolitical purposes. That's why we spent all this money. And so the moment we learn Russia's not going to the moon and is certainly not going to Mars, we cancel the program. It had nothing to do with public interest.
Do y'all want to see what the Earth really looks like at 120,000 foot? I've compressed this 10-minute video of this amateur balloon going up to 120,000 foot. I took it from 10 and made it 1 minute, so it's nice and short for y'all. It may surprise some of y'all. You know, I've seen probably about 100 different pieces of amateur footage of this same exact scenario, and it always ends up the same exact way. Right now they're about at 80,000 foot. Google what happens at 80,000 foot and let me know in the comments. Or at least, when I first went down this rabbit hole 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, at 80,000 foot, something is supposed to happen significant when you're in the atmosphere to the surrounding area. It might have been changed already though. So what do y'all think? Did it look different than you thought it would? You know what you want to say, whether you accept it or not. This video right here is actually hilarious because the sun is what, 94 million miles away? And the sun is inside the clouds? I guess that means the clouds are 94 million miles away. The ones that are behind the sun, you know? Somebody's lying.
A mysterious object has been caught hitting the moon, and no one is sure what it was.
In 2018, this footage of the moon was captured and shared on social media. As the camera zooms in, a large circular object seems to be orbiting the moon, moving slowly and then rotating and traveling behind it.
Some people watching this video theorize that the object near the moon is the planet of Nibiru, which is part of an end-of-the-world prophecy that said Earth and Nibiru would collide in a cataclysmic event, effectively ending the world.
It looks really tiny when we're looking through this viewfinder, but if we were to put this comparatively of how big it would be to the moon, this is huge.
The moon has a circumference of over 6,800 miles, meaning this object would be around 100 miles across.
In 1994, we found something massive on the moon. But guess what? We covered it up. In 2004, a researcher named Joseph P. Skipper found something pretty strange in the images made public through Project Clementine. Okay, here's what he found. It doesn't look like much at first, but if you look a little closer, you can plainly see that NASA has blurred out a bunch of stuff. Joseph thought it could be a massive structure or even a spaceship. A few years later, a forensic image analyst named Jim Horrocks cleaned the image up. And from all of his measurements, he determined that the size of the structure, or whatever it was roughly 10 times the size of Los Angeles. Like and comment if you're interested, and I'll put up part 2 covering Project Clementine, President Bill Clinton's involvement, and what researchers think they found standing next to the object.
China's rover has spotted a mystery object on the far side of the moon. What is this?
Let me take a look.
It's like the moon grew a mole or something. Is that the let me see the photo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why don't they just drive the rover over to it? They are? It takes 2 months?
It is on the moon. It's not so easy to...
Well, the one, like if we're looking at the moon, like you could drape America over it. So it's big.
The moon is big.
Yeah, so it's not like they were up there and they were like, I'm just going to walk to the other side real quick. You guys see there's a hut over there. So put your bet in, bro. 2 months from now, what's it going to be?
I don't know.
It's going to be a rock?
Some kind of rock.
All right.
I have watched this clip like 59 times. Can anyone tell me what's floating across the moon? Before you say balloons, just watch the whole clip. This is so strange.
What is that? Okay, that's weird. Can you film it too? I can't, it doesn't get any details.
Is it like a cloud?
That's weird.
Is that just like a really tall cloud floating across?
Right.
I mean, that would be a weird UFO. I'm not saying it's like, but what is that?
Exceptionally weird. Someone must...
Is it a breakdown in the simulation?
It's gotta be some balloons. Yeah, it's like...
Totally weird.
I want you to see something that NASA just released, and it has alien structures in it. Can you see it yet? Well, right over here, there is this L-shaped object. Just amazing. And it really screams out alien structure. It looks like it's metallic and it's been constructed. Now, not too far away from it, right here, is another object with 2 big antennas sticking out of it. And it looks like some kind of ship that has landed in this area. Now let me zoom back out so you can see both those objects.
Yes, what we have here is a fucking UFO flying out of the moon. If you just look here at this crater, this obvious UFO just kind of pops out of it and then floats over the surface of the moon. It casts a shadow and everything. So what I've done is I've zoomed in and I've tinkered with the colors to try to bring out this object, to make it look a little bit more clear so we can kind of decide on what it could be. To me, it's a UFO. To me, it's a UFO flying out of a crater on the moon. Pretty clear. But I'm sure there's going to be people who are saying this is somehow CGI, or somehow AI has created this, which is why I'm trying to play with the colors so you could see the way it just pops out of the landscape. It's an obvious shape, possibly a tic-tac shape, and you can see almost an energy that goes around it that the camera picked up on. And there it is. What do you think of this UFO flying out of a crater on the moon? Please.
Strange reddish light appears to be coming from the crater Copernicus. This might be related to the mysterious transient lunar phenomenon where a short-lived change in light color, or appearance on the surface of the moon is observed. It's either that or our moon might be occupied by aliens or something else. Who knows? What do you think?
Jamie, pull that video up.
The world is in shock. What is that strange shadow in front of the moon? It's not an eclipse, and no one knows what it is. People are asking, is this a sign from God? And honestly, it just might be. Because in the past few weeks, nature has been sending terrifying signs. Earthquakes, floods, storms, fire from the skies. And now, the moon itself looks different. The Bible already warned us. These are not just coincidences. They're warnings from heaven. I will show wonders in the heavens above and signs on the earth below. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and glorious day of the Lord. Acts 2:19-20. Don't ignore the signs. Don't wait until it's too late.